Hello everyone. The story I'm going to share today is Zhuge Liang met his master. Zhuge Liang, courtesy name Kong Ming, was born in the late Eastern Han Dynasty. Later, he was the prime minister of Shu State in the Three Kingdoms period and was regarded as a model of wisdom and loyalty by later generations. Zhuge Liang did not speak until he was 8 years old. He was born into a poor family, and his father asked him to look after the sheep at a nearby mountain. There was a Taoist temple on the mountain, and in it lived a Taoist with white hair. The Taoist played with Zhuge Liang when he saw him, using gestures to ask all kinds of questions. Zhuge Liang happily answered the questions with his own hand gestures. Seeing that Zhuge Liang was very lonely yet intelligent, the Taoist began treating his inability to speak. It wasn't long before Zhuge Liang was able to talk. He was very happy and went to the Taoist temple to express his great thanks. The Taoist said to him, "Go home and tell your parents that I will take you as my disciple and teach you how to read and write. I will teach you astronomy, geography, and 8 trigrams, and military strategy. If your parents agree, you have to come here to study every day. But remember this, you must never miss a day." From that day forward, Zhuge Liang came to the temple to study with a Taoist, and he didn't miss a day. Strong winds and heavy rain would not stop him from going to the temple to study. He was very smart and could memorize a book by reading it only once. He and the Taoist got along very well. 9 years passed. One day, on his way home, as he passed an old abandoned hut, a strong wind surged. Then it began to rain. At this moment, a young lady stepped out of the old hut and invited him in. The lady was as beautiful as the flying heavenly maidens. From then on, Zhuge Liang dropped in when he passed by. The lady was happy to see him and would prepare a hearty dinner for him. After dinner, they would talk, laugh, and play chess. Compared to the Taoist temple, this was another world. Zhuge Liang started to tire from his studies. His master's words entered one ear and came out the other, and he remembered nothing. After he finished reading, he could not even recall what he had read. Even if he read the same thing a second time, he still could not memorize it. One day, his master called him in and said with a deep sigh, "It's easy to ruin a tree, but it's difficult to plant one. I helped you to cure your inability to speak and took you as my disciple because you are so smart. I saw you as a teachable, and you had many talents for which I've made great efforts, but it has all been in vain." Pointing to a tree in a temple yard entwined by wild vines, the Taoist said, "Look at that tree. Is it growing or dying?" Zhuge Liang knew he could hide nothing from his master and asked, "Master, do you know everything about me?" With a solemn face, the Taoist said, "To tell you the truth, the lady you favor is not human. Originally, she was a queen in a heavenly palace. Because she stole a peach from the lady queen mother, she was punished and sent down to the human world to suffer. If you are going to be entangled like this, you will fulfill none of your potential, and she will also hurt you." Upon hearing this, Zhuge Liang became nervous and asked what the master was going to do. The Taoist said, "The queen has a habit. Every day before midnight, she transforms into her true image. and flies up to bathe in the heaven's river. When she does, you must go to her room and burn her human clothes. This way, she will never be able to take on the lady's form." He promised his master he would do this. Zhuge Liang then prepared to leave with his master's instruction in mind. Before he left, his master gave him a dragon head crutch and said, "If that crane tries to hurt you, just use this crutch to hit it." So that evening, just before midnight, Zhuge Liang silently went into the hut. As soon as he opened the door, he saw lady's clothes laying on the bed. He immediately burned the clothes. As the crane was bathing in the heaven's river, it felt his heart suddenly tremble. She hurriedly glanced down at her hut. To her surprise, the hut was on fire, and she quickly dried herself and flew down. When she saw Zhuge Liang, she rushed at him and tried to peck at his eyes. Zhuge Liang hit her with a crutch. With only one strike, the crane fell down. Zhuge Liang tried to catch it, but only caught the tail. The crane desperately struggled with fluttering wings and flew away. As a result, Zhuge Liang had a handful of tail feathers. Having learned this lesson, Zhuge Liang saved the crane's feather to remind him to never forget this lesson. Had he gone through these bad experiences, Zhuge Liang started to cultivate diligently, and he could quickly understand everything what master said. A year passed. One day, his master smiled and said to him, "You have been with me for 9 years already. You have read all the books you should read, and you have memorized everything I taught you. Now, you are 18 years old. It's time to go out to do whatever you are supposed to do independently." Upon hearing this, Zhuge Liang immediately knelt down and said, "Master, please do not leave. The more I study with you, the more I feel that my knowledge is not enough, and I need to learn more skills from you." His master told him seriously, "True skills can only be obtained through practice. What you learn from the books depends on the changes in the world. The knowledge you have learned could be useful, but you must change with the times and adapt to the times. For example, the lesson that the crane left you is a warning to you not to be fooled by pornography in the future. This is an immediate lesson. In short, nothing in the world should be fooled by its appearance. You must be cautious and understand its essence. This is my last lesson for you." "Master, where are you going?" Zhuge Liang asked in surprise. "Where shall I visit you in the future?" "Wandering around the world. There is no direction," Master replied. With tears in his eyes, Zhuge Liang said, "If Master must go, please accept my last vow, as to thank you for your great kindness, all you have taught me." Zhuge Liang bowed, and when he stopped and looked up, the master already had disappeared. To thank his master, Zhuge Liang put on the 8 diagrams clothes his master gave him, as if his master was with him all the time. He did not forget his master's teachings and kept his farewell instructions in mind. He specially made a fan from the crane feathers he had collected, held it in his hand, and warned himself to be cautious. This is the origin of the feather fan in Zhuge Liang's hand. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if you just subscribe it. Thank you again.